So good afternoon, and Vrijdag en Zintik. So we're here in Sunday Parshas Yisrei, Erev Tu B'Shvat, Chemisha Oseh B'Shvat, which is Rosh Hashanah Le'Elanis. It's the Rosh Hashanah for the trees. So let's tune into where we need to be today. So Adam Eitz HaSada, a man, a person, an Adam, resembles or is like an Eitz HaSada. There's also the tree of life, which also means that the spheres, the midas of a person, the midas of a human, of a yid, is called, the Esa spheres is called an Ilan Dechaya, which is the tree of life. It's brought down in Chassidus. I mean, it's agriculture, but it's I know it from Chassidus that when you put a seed into the ground, it has to rot away. First, David and Fafalt, it has to rot away completely. It has to become nothing, null and void, and then from that place it starts growing, and it can become what it is in its DNA to become, which is a fruit tree, an apple tree. So too is the avodah is to avoid the sabitul, where we have to become nothing. I have to go through a process of bittul, because as we are coming into Welt, we are triggered and activated. Now, we get activated by the Ezer, by what's opposite me. If I'm in an incubator, if I'm in a womb of love and compassion, then it's going to trigger love and compassion. If I'm in an incubator of resistance, harshness, gevuras, and tzimtzum, restriction, then that's what is going to activate in me. And if I'm an incubator in both, then ultimately I'm going to be confused. I'm not going to know where is what. So since we're coming into Tachal Sivlis Mitzrayim, we're coming into Welt, and right away we're being triggered in all the right buttons, which is triggering me Smoile Doicha in the squeeze. So ultimately we have to go through the process of elimination until I melt down the seed from everything that it was triggered into becoming. And once it's null and void, I can tap into my esospheres of kedusha, where I can tap into my to my inner desire, to that thing that is pulling me and pushing me, that I don't know where and how to land. I just know one thing that I want and I need, and I don't have a language how to express it. And that causes tremendous pain and confusion. And that's where the klippa lives off from. Now, Tevis and half of Shvat is called the month of Esav, because we go into the depth of the winter. It's very dark. It's when I say dark, I don't mean dark like that. I mean it's kind of like there's long nights. The longest nights are in Tevis. And people are bundled up, it's cold, we go inward and we go inside, and when we go inside, it's pretty rough to go inside and to find, after all my other triggers have been triggered, it's not a pleasant place to be in. And it brings depression, chalila, and all types of other stuff. So, of course not if we hold on, if we learn Chassidus, Ilana Dechaya, then all this is a breeze to go through, as we have witnessed here, and Baruch Hashem, that we're tapping in and holding on to the Lana Dechaya. But the 15th day of Shvat is when the bittul dissolving of the being is done, it's processed, and now the tree already gets called something, the saraf, called the burning part of the tree, is already the juice, the fire of the tree has become, it has gained its second wind, as we say. It's starting to become back. It's starting to get back to life. It's starting to wake up. Now, as we can see in the last week, there's been tremendous oidas coming down, tremendous opportunity The way we measure that is by the amount of work, the amount of actual physical work we had to put in to each and every one. If it was we had a bringing and if it was in davening and work and wherever the output is, we were basically collecting. Let's go back to why do we cook for Yom Tov and Shabbos? Why do we prepare such a big table with all types of food when half of it is not being eaten? We can't eat that much. The part is that as the oil comes down, so we need to have a place where it's going to have an achuzah, where it can hold on to, what it can hold on to. So we cook and the bracha comes into that, and then we eat even a little bit, so we take in from the bracha. So based on that, now that we are in a weekday where we don't have meals to say, but rather it's in physical work. So the work that we do, we're collecting, we're creating vessels and we're creating letters and serufim for all the orders to come down. And based on that, we see that there was tremendous order that came down due to based on the work that we have done. And Baruch Hashem, we've done a lot of work, we've covered a lot of ground. We've covered a lot of ground. So tonight is Tu B'Shvat, and also the trees that we're talking about right now, Rosh Hashanah alone, it's starting to grow in Nisan. In Nisan is when we're already able to start taking off, pick the fruits from the tree. We're starting the first of the, it's starting to sprout. Now we see the fruits already. So we already see that there's almost like a connection over here to Pesach. We have like an underground, an undertone of Yetzias Mitzrayim, of Pesach coming back into Shvat. Also, we are already Shloshim Yom Kodem Machag, from Purim. We're 30 days before Purim. This year we have 2 others, thank God, because I don't think we're ready to. We have so much to digest, and we need a little break. There's so much light and so much opportunity and potential that we have opened and developed this year, every step of the way, and it's shnas panim b'panim, and it's a lot to process. So we need the extra month. And keep in mind that shnas panim b'panim, everything is aligned exactly the way it's supposed to be. So we needed the extra month, and it's there for a reason, to give us a minute to process. Now, also actually, it's 40 days. So there's before 40 days Kodem Machag. So it's a machlokes. I think Reb Shimon ben Levi says that Tziras Avlat happens after 40 days. So it's already happening right now. L'chol days we are in Shloshim Yom Kodem Machag, and we can tap into that. It's also the Rebbe talks here about in a Sikha that there is 2 types of foods. There is food that we need to survive, that I need for survival, I have to eat, like grain, bread, it's survival. And then there is food, chita so'ere, and then there is food that is tainug, like fruits. Fruits is, we can live without fruits, and but at the same time, it gives us tainug and gives us pleasure. So to compare that in avodah is that there is the avodah of that I need for survival, Kabbalah soil. I have to do what I have to do, even though it doesn't taste good, but I just need it to survive. But then there is the next level. Once I've done that part, and I've done the bittul, I've done the work of surrendering to all my shortcomings and all my accomplishments. Once I connect with myself, I close the gap, and I get present in the moment, then it clicks, and that's when the seed surrenders completely, and that's when and that's when we can start seeing we can start eating the real fruits, which is the work of tainug. Learning Torah's Chassidus and understanding everything to go into. Once I'm accepting what it is, then I can tap into the meaning. I can find the tainug in everything. I can find the fruit in everything. I can find the purpose, full circle in what the avodah is and what it is that I'm doing. So Tu B'Shvat is an opportunity for that. This is the time where also if we daven for the esrog is leiv. It represents the heart, the fire, the balance. So tonight is an opportunity to not an opportunity. I want to rephrase that. Tonight is the night where you should align yourself with finding the pleasure in everything that you're doing. If it's the pleasure with being with myself, the pleasure with being with my spouse, the pleasure in being with my family, these are our fruits. This is the tree of life. The fruits that we're eating tonight is just a resemblance, just like the Shabbos table. It's something that the bracha should be chal, that we remember, to be touched physically. So the healing happens in the mind, but just to be touched physically for the ego to also accept, for the behemoth to say, okay, something happened. So it should be a sweet new year, a year that tonight is where we tap into our tainuk, to our pleasure, to the taste of life. The real taste of life should be light, it should be health, it should be nachas from ourselves, and we should be able to forgive and forget. All we need is one moment of sweetness, 1 second of tainuk, and it wipes everything away. When the child is not in a good mood, you give him a smile and he forgets about everything. And ultimately, we are all children. All we need is a little smile, a little taste of sweetness. Should have a sweet Tu B'Shvat and a blessed week.